On this problem, we're asked for what values of x does the following geometric series converge? And then we're asked to solve f of x equals 4. Okay, so we have this, we're told that this is a geometric series, and notice that it's got multiple variables. Okay, the variables of the summation is k, but then it's got the extra variable of x inside. And it's asking us to, what are the restrictions we have to put on x in order to make sure that this geometric series converge? Okay, so given that it's geometric, we should remember first of all that if it converges, then it looks like this, a over 1 minus r. Okay, and the sum would look like this, a plus ar plus ar squared plus dot 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 dot. Okay, so what we need to figure out is the a and the r. Okay, so we know our first term is going to be the a, so we could plug in a 0 into this in place of k, not x, in place of k. We're solving for x. And if we plug in a 0, which would be our first term, then the resulting whatever we get will be a. Okay, so let's plug in that. So for a, we'll say a is equal to 2 times x minus 3 over 4, and plug in a 0 for k. Now we know that anything to the 0 power is 1. That doesn't include this 2 here. Only this parentheses is getting raised to the 0 power. So this all turns into a 1. So this becomes 2. So a is equal to 2. Okay, now let's figure out AR. Okay, AR would be the next term in the series. So if we plug in a 1 in place of the k, we'll get AR. So that's going to be 2 times x minus 3 divided by 4 to the 1 power. Okay, we can clean that up just a bit. Don't need the 1 power exponent. Okay, so in order to figure out r, which is what we're trying to do with this second term, right now we have ar, but we need to figure out r. So in order to get rid of the a, we divide by a. Okay, we know that a is equal to 2, so when I divide this and this by a, I'm actually dividing by 2. So I have 2r, or ar, is equal to 2 times x minus 3 over 4. I can divide both sides by 2, and that's gone. And that'll leave r is equal to x minus 3 over 4. Okay, so we have our a, and we have our r. Okay, and remember, if we're assuming this thing converges somewhere, so if it converges somewhere, it looks like this. Okay, so let's go back to that and say, okay, we have s is equal to, remember, it's a over 1 minus r. So 2 over 1 minus, what was our r? Here it is, x minus 3 over 4. Okay, let's clean that up a little bit. So common denominator on bottom would give us 2 over, let's see, 1 would become 4 over 4, right? Okay, so that would be 4 minus x. Well, let's distribute that negative sign. Don't forget that the negative sign goes to both of those. Okay, so that would be 4 minus x plus 3 over 4. You could flip and multiply. Flipping the 4 up becomes an 8. Let's condense 4 and the 3 into a 7 minus x. So s equals 8 over 7 minus x. That's going to be our sum if we can show where it converges. So we have to figure out, because it's not going to work for all x values. Okay, there are some x values that would not work. So to figure out our x values, we need to remember that a geometric series converges when the absolute value of r is less than 1. We have r. Okay, where was r? Here it is. So let's solve that absolute value inequality. So to solve this, we'd put the negative 1 on the other side. So negative 1 is less than r, or x minus 3 over 4, is less than 1. That's how you solve this absolute value. It's less than 1. Okay, so you would get negative 4 is less than x minus 3 is less than 4 when you multiply by 4 on both sides. Now add 3. So negative 1 is less than x is less than 7. 7. Okay, so this is where it's restricted. This answers the question. For what values of x does the following geometric series converge? It converges when negative 1 is less than x is less than 7. Okay. Now to figure out the next question, which was solve f of x is equal to 4, what we need to do is set what we figured out it sums to equal to 4. Okay, remember this is f of x. Okay, this whole series. But we said it converges, where it converges into this right here. So this should be equal to f of x, which in our case is equal to 4, or at least that's what the problem wants us to do. Okay, so we would say 4, let's write it up here, 4 is equal to, what do we say? 8 over 7 minus x is what we got. Okay, so we could solve that. Multiply it over, you get 4 times 7 minus x equals 8. You could divide the 4 over, so 7 minus x is equal to 2. Move that over, negative x is equal to negative 5, x is equal to 5. So when x is equal to 5, this thing is going to converge to what number? 4. Okay, so we worked it backwards. It said solve for f of x is equal to 4, so that what they were saying is solve this series, make it equal to 4. What is the x value that has to be in order to make this series equal to 4? And we found out that it's 5. And that completes the problem.